Hey guys. Okay. In this video we will talk about I think in the last video I had explained you about how to create a basic auto scaling groups with a minimal setup, right? Without load balancer attached. So in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to uh, create an application load balancer first, okay, with the target group, with one target group, okay. And then I'm going to create an auto scaling group. Okay, so before I create the auto scaling group, you have to create launch template as well. Okay, so as you guys know, we need either launch template or launch configuration. Okay, before creating auto scaling group. Okay, cool. So after this, I think we will do this setup first, and then we will launch couple of instances. So the instances is gonna be, for example, for me, desired I want two instances. Okay, minimum I want one instances, maximum I want, for example, four instances. I will do like this. Okay, so this is gonna be the setup. So let's start launching up an instance right now. I mean, creating the load balancer first. I'm logging into my database console. Okay, okay, cool. So what am I going to do is I'm going to search for EC2 here, or if you already have added in your favorites, it will be here. Click on EC2. Okay, just scrolling down, I'm clicking on auto scaling groups. Okay, so I don't have any auto scaling groups yet. Let me click on load balances also. Okay, I don't have any load balances. Okay, anything in target groups? Okay, I have a target group, but I'm gonna delete it. Okay, gonna start from scratch on this. Okay, so target group load balances and instances. I have only one, which is already lamp stack server. That is for another video. That is stopped. Okay, you can forget about it. Okay, now if I want you, if I want you guys to give a quick diagram on what we are going to do, let me explain you in a way. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me open a whiteboard for you. Okay, cool. Here we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, what we are going to do here is, so say for example, this is me where I'm trying to access, and I'm going to create an application load balancer. Okay, ALB, application load balancer. And after this application load balancer, there would be a target group, absolutely. Then what happens is I'm going to create an auto scaling group, ASG. Okay, ASG. Now this ASG will already have something called launch template, LT, launch template. Okay, so this ASG will have what? Desired, minimum and maximum. So based on that, desired, minimum, maximum. So based on that, instances will vary. Okay, so this is the setup which we are going to do. Okay, cool. So let's do that. But make sure that in order to create an auto scaling group, as I've already explained in another video and the previous videos, you need either launch template or launch configuration. Okay, only then you can create auto scaling group, ASG. Okay, this launch template is newly introduced. This launch configuration is a legacy one. It's an old one. So people who are really using, who wants to use this launch things, everybody should go with the launch template. Okay, so that is aptful. Cool. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Here we go. I'm gonna click on load balancers first. Okay, clicking on create load balancer, and I'm gonna choose application load balancer. Click on create, and here I'm gonna create my app LB. Okay, scrolling down, it's gonna be internet facing, and it's going to be using IPv4 for now. And scroll down, and I'm gonna choose my load balancer in all the availability zones. Okay, security group, I'm gonna choose my application security group. Okay, and then target group, I don't have anything, so I'm gonna create a target group. Click on create target group, scroll down. So my target type is going to be instances. Okay, and the target group, I'm gonna name like my app tg, and the protocol HTTP and port is 80, and it's going to be HTTP 1. And don't, and the health check settings, I'm going to change it to minimum here, maybe 10 seconds. Okay, the interval. And next, so I don't have any instances to launch right now, so I don't want, because we are going to launch instances using the auto scaling group. Okay, so just click on create target group. The target group is created. Okay, remember, the target group is created. Okay, the my app target group. Okay, so here there is no instances, we don't have any instances because we are not going to create any instances manually. We are going to create instances through auto scaling group. Okay, so that's why the target, it's empty, nothing is there. Even if you're trying to click on register targets here, there would be nothing. See, no available instances, because we are not doing anything manually here yet. So target group is created. Now come back to the first tab. Now click on this. Okay, now you have to refresh it. Now click on this my app tg, it's got selected. Okay, cool. Scroll down and then click on create load balancer. Now the load balancer is getting created. It will be in provisioning mode. Now, as per the notepad, what happened is this: the first step is completed. Okay, cool. Now let's go to the second step. Okay, so in the second step, it says create an auto scaling group and create launch template. Now let's go to the launch template. Okay, so even if you hit on auto scaling groups here, okay, there is something called create auto scaling group. Click on it. Now it's asking you for the auto scaling group name. So I'm gonna click my app ASG, and then scroll down, and here if you see launch template is coming up. Okay, so here we did not, okay, there is a launch template already created. Let me see what is the template. Launch templates, maybe I might have created yesterday, so I'm gonna delete it for now. Okay, okay, launch template, auto scaling groups, create auto scaling group. So my app ASG, scroll down, launch template, I don't have any launch template. Okay, so here as I've already explained, there are two things which is really mandatory before creating auto scaling group: either the launch template or launch configuration. I have explained the launch template clearly in the last videos, please check on it. Okay, cool. Now I don't have anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on create a launch template, which will open up in a new tab. Okay, here I'm gonna my app LT launch template, and I'm gonna copy the same, scroll down, and I'm gonna choose the default Amazon Linux 2 AMI here. Scroll down, and I'm gonna choose let me choose T2 micro itself. Okay, cool. And key pair, I'm gonna choose some my own key pair. And security group, I'm gonna choose my app security group. And then storage, just keep this normal. And advanced details, just scroll down, and then I'm gonna paste the user data, which is nothing but the script which we normally use it every time. I hope you guys are having this, so use the same. Control V, and then click on create launch template. Okay, launch template is created. Go back to your first tab, refresh the screen, scroll down, my app LT is done. Okay, Now this is going to be the default version 1. I have explained clearly about this version last video. Please have a check on it. Okay, cool guys. Now scroll down, hit on next, and then I'm going to choose the availability zones. For now I'm going to choose 1A and 1B. You know the reason, because 1C is T2 micro is not supported, or any kind of T2 or T3 series, so I'm using only 1A or 1B. Okay, cool. Now scroll down, I'm hitting next. Okay, here's the main screen. Okay, in the last video I think I have chosen only the no load balancer. In this video I'm attaching this auto scaling group to a load balancer. Okay, so as per the diagram, I'm doing this. See, as per the diagram I'm doing this part. I'm just attaching these two parts. Okay, cool. Now attached to an existing load balancer. So we already created a load balancer. So I'm clicking on it. Now it's asking me, okay, choose from your load balancer target group. If you click on it, there will be a target group which we already added. My app TG, I'm clicking on it. Done. Now health check. So health check here we have two health checks. Okay, one is EC2, which is default, which is grayed out, but it is marked. Okay, it has a checkbox, which means, okay, health check is directly happening to each and every EC2 instance. And you want an additional health check on the load balancer also? So if you enable load balancing, you can enable ELB health check in addition to the EC2 health check. Okay, so always go with this as well, in case if you're attaching the load balancer. We have done it, and then next. Okay, now here is the main deal. Okay, if you remember, as per the notepad, what I did was I did desired 2, minimum 1, maximum 4. Okay, so I'm going to do the same, desired 2, minimum 1 and maximum 4. So what does that means? 2 instances here, 1 instances here, 4 instances here. Okay, so at any point of time I want 2 instances to be always running. Okay, and if any problem happens, minimum it will be only 1. So desired means actual. Okay, okay, cool. Now scroll down, and I'll talk about the scaling policies later. Yeah, so I'm just choosing none for now, and then hit on next. And I'll talk about notification in the next video, and then hit next, and then hit next, and then click on create auto scaling group. Okay, now it says updating. If you click on it, and then it will give you the activity. If you hit on activity, just scroll down, so it will launch, it will keep on launching the instances. Okay, and if you click on instance management here, it will tell you that, okay, T2 microservices, which is in pending status, once it's become running in progress, it will be healthy. It's already healthy now. Okay, so that's it. So this is how you can map your auto scaling group with your load balancer. Yeah, well, let's do something real quick. Okay, say for example, okay, Samir, we have 2 instances is launched here. Okay, which is for example, I'm just giving the name for my identification. I'm giving app 1 here, and then app 2. Okay, cool. Now what I'm thinking of doing right now is, okay, let's take this app 1 machine. Okay, and I'm hitting on monitoring here. So if you see the monitoring here, so the CPU utilization, okay, it's still in initializing mode. Let's wait for a minute. Okay, so let's play something right now. So how many instances we have right now is 2. Okay, app 1 and app 2. I mean, as per our design, which is desired 2, okay, which is currently running. Okay, and for and maximum it can scale out. Okay, maximum it can have only 4 instances. Okay, that is what we have designed here. So if you put 6, it means maximum it will have 6 instances. Okay, now what I'm thinking to do here is, okay, if you, okay, let me try to log into one of the instances. Okay, I'm trying to log into this machine app 1. I'm hitting on connect, and hitting on connect here. Okay, perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is, okay, if you hit the top command, it will tell you here what is the CPU utilization. If you say nothing is really happening with this CPU, okay, it just says because no activities are happening, so that's why it says 0 or 0.3 percentage. That's it. Now there is a utility, okay, there is a utility called stress, stress. So what that utility, it's a software, it's a component. What it will does is it will give a lot of stress to your operating system, which will increase your CPU utilization, okay, so that we can perform some task. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, say for example, in real time scenario, if lot of users are accessing and because of some reason this instance is consuming lot of CPU utilization and it's going to crash, so during that time what are you going to do? So during the time you are going to instruct the auto scaling group that, okay, if my CPU utilization is increased about 50%, then launch the instances, okay, something like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, say for example, let me explain you again. Okay, so scenario is this. Okay, so currently two instances are running. Okay, and now what I'm, and maximum you can opt for four instances, because I have chosen maximum as 4 in auto scaling group when we created it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm going to create a dynamic policy, which I'll show it to you what is this dynamic policy is. Okay, I'm going to create a dynamic policy. Okay, so for example, if any instance crosses 50 percentage of CPU utilization, then launch another instance. So right now if you see this instance, it is just 0. Okay, now real time I can't make it right now 50 percentage, because that's why I'm going to install some utility called stress utility, okay, which will increase the CPU and we can achieve what we want. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a dynamic policy. How can you do it? So here, go to auto scaling group. Okay, click on auto scaling group, and over here click on automatic scaling. Okay, so here in this automatic scaling there are three categories. Okay, one is dynamic scaling policies, predictive scaling policies, and scheduled actions. Okay, so let me talk scheduled actions first. So now what do you mean by scheduled actions? Scheduled actions is nothing but you're just telling the auto scaling group that at this particular time I want instances to launch. Okay, so if you click on create schedule action, so you can mention, for example, demo scheduled, something like this. Then you can say I want 5, I want 4, and then I want 5, something like this. Recurrence, every 5 minutes you want to launch, or every 30 minutes you want to launch. This is recurrence. Okay, or you can set up the cron also. Okay, if you guys know about Linux, basic Linux commands, you can do that. And then once means recurrence, only once you have to launch, what time zone and what is the start time, when it's going to launch. You can do like this is a scheduled action. Okay, and the next one, the middle one, is predictive scaling policies. Say for example, for the last couple of days, you may be running a lot of instances with the load balancer and other things. Okay, so this will, if you click on create predictive scaling policies, this will take your historical data, okay, and then it will scale up as per your historic data. Okay, so that is what it says. So now if for example if you give my demo predictive, scaling policy. So scale based on forecast, if you enable it, this is very good. Okay, and then scroll down, and for now metrics. So what are the metrics you want to do? So cpu utilization, if you choose this, and then if you see the average cpu utilization rate to target in the forecast period, so 50% per instances. Okay, now scroll down, so you can launch the instances here, 5 minutes, how many minutes you want, and then click on create. Yeah, so this is also good. Now what I'm going to show you is dynamic scaling policies. Okay, the one which I explained to you here, this thing, the scenario. So this will come under dynamic scaling policy. Okay, now click on create dynamic scaling policy. Now here in the dynamic scaling policy, there are three policy types. Okay, one is target tracking scaling, step scaling, and simple scaling. Now, if you talk about simple scaling, what it just gives you a simple option here based on the CloudWatch alarm. Okay, you can take the action. I will talk about the CloudWatch, later in couple of videos. When I discuss all those things, I can come and explain you this simple scaling, and also step scaling, also based on the CloudWatch alarm. Okay, now I'm talking about target tracking scaling. So what it does is, say for example, okay, average CPU utilization, if it is crossed 50, then it will launch an instance. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, so this one I made it as 50 for now, and then average CPU utilization 50. If you want some other metrics, for example, average network in, average network out, okay, or how many count you are getting per load balancer target, you can do like that also. See, for this one, if you get a 50 request on the target group, then you create an instance, something like that. But for now, I'm choosing average CPU utilization. If it cross 50, then it should launch an instance. Okay, I'm hitting on create. So now dynamic scaling created. So this is the scaling policy which is created. Now what I'm going to do is, if you remember, we have two instances, right? So here app 1, app 2. So I've already logged into app 1, and right now my CPU is 0.0 because nothing is happening real time. So what I'm going to do is, if you open Google, if you type install stress Amazon Linux 2, enter, so you'll get the first link. Okay, click on it. So here you will get the command, okay, to install the stress utility. So I'm going to copy the first command and then control C and opening my instance here, and I'm going to paste it, enter. It will run, it will install the stress, and also I'm going to run the second command, control V, enter. Okay, now that is also done. Now I'm going to run the stress utility. So the command is stress hyphen C, and then if you put 6 means it will create the 6 virtual CPU. Okay, now if you, now you can't do anything on this terminal. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to connect to the instance one more time, connect. So it will be connected. This is the one which we run the stress hyphen C6 means CPU, virtual CPU. You can put 4, you can put 8, it depends on it. So now if you type top command here, so now see what is the CPU? It says 94.5, 100. So it's almost crossed 50%. So it's, if you see stress utility, no, stress command is keep on running. Yeah. How many times? 6 times it's keep on running. So 6 virtual CPU it's taking, and it's becoming 100%. It's more than 50%. Now, what is our auto scaling group does? So if you see what is our auto scaling group is, desired is 2, but maximum it can go 4. So as per our design, it should launch another instance. If I'm not sure, let's see. Okay. So let's wait for a minute or two. So it should launch one more instance because app 1 is crossed 50%. Okay, so let's wait for it. Okay, so if you see, as expected, there is another instance which is already started, okay, which is running right now because it has crossed 50% of CPU utilization in app 1, and we got another instances here. So at the max, it can launch only 4 instances, because our desired value and maximum value, if you see, maximum value is 4. Okay, so right now 3 instances are running. So why? Because we installed the stress utility. So after we install the stress utility, our third machine is also started. So app 1, we give a stress of more than 50 percentage, which is nothing but this one, which is cross 100%. Since we since we created a dynamic scaling policy, if you click on it, if you click on automatic scaling, there is something called dynamic scaling policy. So this is what we have done. So here, what we have done here is, click on actions. If you hit on edit, so this is what we have done. Average CPU utilization, you can change it. Okay, so that's all for today. So instance management, you can see, and monitoring. So I think that's all for today, guys. I think auto scaling, we do not have anything. Okay, now if you see, app 2 is getting terminated. Why? Because if you see, our desired is 2. Okay, at any point of time, desired is 2. Okay, that's why it's just terminating one of the instances. Okay, so that is one thing. And mm, 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 mm. Okay, and also, yeah, and also I want to tell you, so if you click on app 1 here, click on monitoring here, now you can see the monitoring CPU utilization screen here. So just click on it, click on enlarge. See, the CPU utilization is crossed from here to here. It's going above. It will keep on going. Yeah, so this is where you can see the CPU utilization. uh, and Okay, that's all for today, guys. Yeah, thank you.